Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Dani Henderson and welcome back to my beautiful channel. I'm so excited about this lady today that's on my channel. Before I tell you her name and her channel on YouTube, I want to say that one of the main reasons why Chantelle and I are doing this broadcast together is because we're both of the same mind that it is time for us all to share our channels with each other. So many of us focus on different areas. We might have a dominant subject in particular, but as we're in this spiritual war, this mental mind war, this emotional war, it's time for us all to stand shoulder to shoulder, channel to channel. Even if we don't like everybody interviews, let's just get rid of that nonsense and let's all stand together in love. This lady, Chantelle Meyburgh, stands in love. Her channel is Aquarius Africa Rising. Oh my God, I did it again. I did it. This is dyslexia. Okay, here we go. It is
Aquarius Rising Africa.
Oh my God, I want you to practice on that and still said it wrong. Aquarius Rising Africa, ARA, Aquarius Rising Africa. Chantelle Meyburgh,
All
it's
right.
so good to see you, my love.
Oh, Dani, it's so good to see you. Thank you for having me. Really, it's a pleasure to be here. And I want to just say I'm possibly having a few internet issues this evening, but hopefully it won't be interrupting us too badly.
We're just going to crack on with it. I did a broadcast with Elena Danan yesterday, and my recording got taken off my laptop again, but she had a copy. But when you hear me talk on her copy, it's all muffled. It's all, because we're all bringing out the best information everywhere right now. So we just push through. We just crack on. We say to people, stick your subtitles on if you can. Chantelle, your channel is
Indeed,
fascinating. Yeah, your channel is
that's for sure.
fascinating. I think we've got a bit of lag as well in the audio, but your channel is so fascinating. The guests that you have are so fascinating. I want everybody that watches this channel to go over to your channel so they can get all of your content and learn and arm themselves with treasures and information that they might not be getting on my channel. But I want to get into your background. I want you to tell us about your special gifts as a child and what you've done with them. So please, the floor is yours, my love.
Well, thank you so much. Really, as I said, I really appreciate being here, and it's a great privilege to be invited. So thank you. It's always nice to share, as you say, and for us to get together and really just combine our energies to create healing, create change, and create awareness, which is really what it's all about. Yeah, well, I'm a South African girl. I'm a farm girl. I'm from the heart of the Karoo. Now, anyone who knows South Africa will know that it's a semi-desert area there. Lots of farming, livestock farming goes on there. And I was the farmer's daughter, one of 6 kids, and really had a beautiful childhood, I say. It was amazing. My grandmother, my mother, and myself, just in our lineage, are all what we call Metaphysical, which is when a baby is born with a placenta on the head, right? And then our old wives' tales would have the legend that that child has got spiritual gifts. And it generally is true. So, and then depending on whether the doctor lifts it off that way or that way, depends on whether your gifts will be inward or outward. So you'd either see or perceive, right? So I'm not sure which mine was. I must be very honest. Could have been either way. I have, I don't know, both, I think. But yes, and it was really incredible because I was born seeing spirits, seeing into other realms and other dimensions. I could hear the voices of the animals, which the rest of my family couldn't. But it was understood that that was my norm, But it was very frustrating because although in my own family it was generally accepted, I was pretty much the different child. So I always fought with my siblings. Well, they say I did. I don't believe that. But anyway, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And but when I went to school, because obviously being farm kids, it's understood when you go to school, you go to the hostel, you go to boarding school, right? So of course I went to boarding school when I was 5, and I remember that I was seeing a spirit in the hostel, and remember telling them that there was a spirit in the hostel, but my granny knew how to get rid of evil spirits or bad spirits, and she could get rid of this one. And of course, it was something like that. And of course, it had the opposite effect because everyone was very religious and conservative. I was then told that I was, Jesus hated me and I was a child of the devil.
That's terrible.
So
I
that
know
was
that
my,
journey.
yeah, crazy, right? But yeah, so, but also remember there was a specific time when I remember sitting under the lemon tree once and just had God's voice just saying to me, you have this gift, but it's not for now. Just save it. And I saved it. So I knew what was going on, but I wasn't as verbal. And I guess in many ways as well, I closed it off because then I just became a kid and a teenager and always saw it though, always understood, always knew, but didn't really talk about it much to anyone till I got much older. And, in my early 20s, I started studying astrology, stuff like that, numerology. And I mean, I'm going back nearly 40 years now, right? It was very much often to do. But it was amazing because it was during that time I met my Austrian fiance. And after 7 years, he was killed in a hijacking or a carjacking. That was certainly the turning point in many ways for me because I knew, I mean, a long story short, he kind of knew he wasn't going to live to be very old. But he always said to me, if something happens, my internet looks unstable. But he always said to me, if something happens, he'll come back and tell me. And, I understood through connecting with my friend who's a medium at the time what had happened. And I knew that it would be okay. But I must say, on the day that I had to go and ID the body, and it was really crazy because when I saw him, I just screamed. And you heard his voice. Just remember, it's only my body. I'm right here.
Oh.
And that for me was amazing because the next few years were a progression of really understanding and what it is to have a spirit work with you. Because suddenly I knew I applied everything I knew as a child. I started creating workshops. I started traveling with my work, started teaching. I developed then the Sun Kids programs, which is really teaching kids about animal communication, their chakras, energy, how it works, affirmations, meditation, reflexology, organic, everything, really a strong basic foundation or a book for kids. And we know we don't need to teach kids, they know everything. But when they come in their little bodies on this earth, we need to remind them. And it's up to us as parents to open that path and that road for them to be able to express themselves freely and be who they are without trying to judge them or control them, but still guide them sufficiently enough to know, that they are being guided and we've got their back. So I developed that. Mornay did the graphics around that, Labor of Love, who wrote the book, which is now on Amazon. And then in the last 3 years, I actually created a manual for teachers and children and parents for homeschooling and all of that. So I've created a teaching program for that as well for teachers who want to train and facilitate either their own kids. So there's the homeschooling version available. And then there's the accredited version, which means you can actually teach it in schools and stuff like that. So obviously the objective is to get it more and more into schools as we go along, that this becomes the norm and not some godforsaken dominatrix type person doing some stupid sex show for our kids. I don't even know. My mind boggles at that. I mean, that is like so crazy. anyway, so it gives kids the tools, the foundation, right? And at the same time, alongside that, I developed the adults programs. So that's called Source Alchemy. So they mirror each other, they interface each other. So in the Sun Kids programs, it's kids information. And in the adults programs, it's the alchemy for adults. So I've developed 4 major programs, which 16 weeks, 16 weeks, 8 weeks, 8 weeks, to understand how the alchemy works. It's spiritual alchemy. We're not talking physical alchemy. It's spiritual alchemy, turning the lead, which is the pain, the suffering from this lifetime and many others, and transmuting it back into creative life force, which is the gold, the highest vibrating of all the metals, right? And now we can start creating in a different way, right? With tools that we have. And it really is a beautiful journey of going within. You know, when we discover the gifts we have within ourselves, it's phenomenal. And of course, the kids have the same thing. And of course, the Sun Kids are guided and protected by the sacred white lions, you know. And the white lions of Africa are not missing a gene. They don't have a recessive gene, as what so many people will say. You know, the African shamans believe that every time a white animal, because white symbolizes the purity, right, comes to the earth, like the white tigers, the white lions, the white peacocks, we're seeing so many white albino type animals, and they're not albinos coming to the earth. The shamans believe that that's a ray of God's light hitting the earth. So to that understanding and that energy that we teach the kids. And so, yeah, there's lots of there's a program available for people who would like to follow that path. You know, if you see yourself as a facilitator for kids for fifth dimensional consciousness, then we're happy. You know, it's that type of stuff. So, yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and it's been amazing, challenging, tough. I lived in Thailand for 3.5 years between Thailand and South Africa. It was really cool. Came back here for lockdown, and then started Aquarius Rising Africa. You know, when I heard Jesse Zabota's first interview with David Zublik, still under the name of Jane. And in fact, Jessie was the first time that she showed her face and used her real name was on Aquarius Rising Africa, which was amazing. And I know she was doing Dan Duval shows at the same time. So, wow, it was just hearing these stories, you know, are absolutely insanely mind-blowing. So I hear a lot of, you know, over the years, you hear a lot of stuff, but I mean, I got to tell you, there's so much crap out there, Dani, and you know it, you know, there's so many of these people just trying to create chaos in one's ears. But, you know, with someone like Jessie, who's a high-level whistleblower, she was trained to be the Queen Mother of Darkness, which is the highest position in the shadow government. The shadow government at the time was run by women, 5 mothers of darkness. She was trained to be the queen, and her proctor was the Queen Mother of Darkness. So she's got this incredible information, and you know, to the point that she's highly targeted and of course accused of all sorts of. My internet is unstable again.
I know.
Accused of all sorts of crazy things. Yeah, accused of all sorts of crazy things and really highly targeted. But man, what a beautiful lady. She's so full of grace. She's really a strong Christian. And she truly is a true Christian for me. You know, I'm sorry to say this, but there's a lot of Christianity and false Christians out there. And really, Christianity for me, there's a lot of work to be done there. But Jessie is truly, she's one of these people who is truly opened her heart and has experienced the worst of the worst and is coming to the fore to bring us that knowledge. So that for me was the main reason that we started Aquarius Rising Africa. And then obviously interviewing a lot of survivors since then. lots of high-level whistleblowers. We have Tom Althouse as well, who's the actual author of the movie The Matrix. We know these things get stolen from them. Tom Althouse is the author of The Matrix. And I've had him on as a guest for at least 2 years now. Brilliant individual. Wow. I mean, a gifted genius. Really incredible. And if you listen to his story there, you'll see exactly how they pinpoint and how they put his birth date in the movie. And he's, you know, 2 of his sons were killed as well over the years. And he's looking very protectively over his 3rd son now as well. So, you know, there's these types of guys we chat to, and it's brilliant. It's really good to get that information out there. So we enjoy that.
It's amazing, Chantelle. You know, you're a girl after my own heart in terms of, you know, I know you and I, we have such a deep passion and such a deep love for humanity, for our brothers and our sisters on every level. The lady that you mentioned, Jessie Zabota, I want to say to the audience that watches this, I encourage you, if the only reason you go across to Chantelle Meyburgh, and more, you mentioned Mornay, people that love Alex Collier, who's one of the greatest people that have ever talked about our alien friends are the Andromedans. He has a beautiful guide, an Andromedan guide called Mornay. So Chantelle's Mornay is a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed, lovely, gentle soul that's often on screen with you, that runs your channel with you. That's Mornay for Chantelle, guys. And Chantelle Meyburgh,
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned, you're one of the bravest people on YouTube. The subjects that you tackle, the Mormon, the atrocities that happen across the faces of these systemized religions, which anybody who wants education, that's the channel to go to, Aquarius, Rising Africa. But Jessie Zabota.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Jessie Zabota. And how you spell her last name, guys, it's a European spelling. It's C for Charlie, Z or Z, CZ Zabota, Jessie Zabota. But easy, just go to Aquarius Africa, Aquarius Rising Africa, and there's a massive amount of interviews that you do with Jessie. I will warn you, it is
absolutely.
It's such dark, horrible, unbelievable information. But we can no longer be, you know, just hoping that we don't find something out. We're all in, if we're still standing at this stage, us of humanity, we're in it. So we better educate ourselves. What would you say to people might be one of the first broadcasts on your channel? Because we could put a link under our interview to a particular broadcast that would give them an overview of the main religion that the people that run our planet follow, because it certainly is not Christianity.
Oh no, it's not. When we're looking at the Cabal, the whole system, the Illuminati system, it's made up of 5 pillars. And the 5 pillars would be the Catholics, the Kabbalah, the Satanists, the Mormons, and the Masons. So those would be the 5 main pillars of the Illuminati. So everything, it's like a business when you're looking, and this is where it's so interesting to listen to Jessie's stuff, because no one has more amazing information when it comes to these disclosures. She speaks about that in depth. So okay, here's my internet unstable again. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. It's all right. So
she speaks about that in depth, you know.
She really does.
Yeah, are we am I back?
Yeah, you're back, darling. Yeah, she
am
really
I back?
does. Yep, you're here. It's recording my end.
So annoying.
I know. Well, I'll just keep yakking till you. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me? Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Can you see me now? Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Be careful though, because there are so many unkind people out there watching your channel and my channel, for example. And as soon as we make a movement, if we were to do this, for example, this is cannibalism, and or we go, this, and yeah, and then they're so looking for something to attack because they've got a retarded gene that's only looking for misery, not to bring the light up for people, but to bring them down into where their vibration is currently residing. And the saddest thing to me is the people that make the movies on us and the videos and say the terrible evil lies, all lies, terrible, terrible, disgusting lies, you know, they're owned by demons themselves. And it's so scary that people don't realize they're owned by demons. They're run by dark entities. Go ahead.
I mean, if you look at Meta is the name of one of the AI demons, or one of the head ones, or whatever. I know Jesse speaks about him. I mean, there's so much information. And that is why I really want to encourage you guys to watch hers. And I know I've done over 100 interviews with her now. And they, in the last 3 years, because I've had her, September, it's 3 years that we've had our channel. And we've been struck a few times as well. So, you know, we get struck and then up we get again, and then get struck again, up we go again, you know, so we just carry on, you know. But really, there's amazing, we also on Rumble. So a lot of the stuff is on Rumble there. But there's playlists on our YouTube channel as well. So you can go into those playlists and you can really, I mean, focus on Australia, guys. There was up until about 6 or 8 months ago, we're doing a lot of stuff with Australia. What's happening in Australia is absolutely disgusting. I mean, Australia is certainly one of the underbellies for this type of stuff you want to hear. And what I love about Australia is that there's so many men that speak up, right? Men are not usually talking about these things, but in Australia, there's a lot of guys. Horrific when you see these organized child trafficking rings through these boys' homes. And what's the guy, Ivan Milat, which was a prolific Australian serial killer, for example. He was in one of those boys' homes with one of my guests, and they were MK Ultraing him. He was being MK Ultra'd, which is why he was doing what he was doing. And we know now that that is one of the, ooh, where am I now?
I can see you're moving. I'll just go back to us on side by side. When I shift the zoom around and I put us back on screen, because mostly when you're talking, I want everyone to listen to you and see you. So I switch around, but when you freeze,
I've lost my screen. I've lost my screen now.
Wow.
I don't know where I am. This is crazy.
Okay. Well, we'll just continue because it's just so lovely to have you. Let me know when you can see yourself again.
You know what it is? Suddenly I've just got the white Zoom logo in front of me. The whole camera's gone. The entire like Zoom room is gone. Right. It's like a lot of, but if you can hear me,
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. And you know, there's Alex Collier sent me the other day some information on what Zoom are doing, and Zoom are taking your private videos. They can do this, they can do that. You know, we know it's like Rumble. I'm like, oh, do me a favor. Of course, Rumble's managed and watched. Of course it is. You know, like, oh, we're safe on Rumble. No, they're just seeing the people like you and I that speak out and speak about love, and people learning and, you know, gathering information to educate themselves in this life that is theirs, you know, because there's a, you know, an idea to take over the world. And I mean, those total twats, I just cannot think of a worse name for the World Economic Forum. Who put those blokes on that platform? They did. Self-appointed, self-anointed knobheads, and they are actually thinking that the world is going to follow them. Follow me, you will know nothing and you will be happy. Stick it up your ass. You know, if they want to open their eyes now and see the world is saying, oi, fat boy, you know, and he's modeling the Hitler programs, right? Hitler, the young leaders of today, you know, and there'll be those that watch me do that and will be filled with hatred and murderous thoughts. That's how it's worked in the world. But those that have those emotions, oi, make sure you're not MK Ultra, because I think you're going to find you are. Because when we have those violent responses, they're not our real responses. They are internalized. They are programmed into us. Right. You know, the other group, the Who.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The Who, the bloody Who. World Health. What is that bloke, Bill Gates? What is he doing in our business? Why is he buying up the beautiful organic seeds on the planet?
Well,
Why is he buying millions of acres of farmland? And then why are people burning up food production? He's going to make this disgusting fake meat from cells. Like, it's so disgusting. Men with money, or women with that much money, should not be allowed to buy all the shit they're buying to try and take over the world and be the world leader. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Bunch of muppets. What do you think?
well, yeah, I'm so with you on that, because the whole thing is that they've you know, we've also done decodes on the whole pedo thing, right? I don't know how much I can say, yeah, but also the way they do it, and especially with young boys, because they believe that the anus is basically the pathway to the gods, where they now have their own planet and their own they become gods of their own planet. That's really what they've been promised, and that's what they believe. And as crazy as what that sounds, that's why these guys do the things that they do. It really is that. And we're not dealing with human beings here. We know that. I mean, you know that. I mean, there have been enough people that have given us evidence that these are not humans, and we know they're not. I mean, I deal with some also high-level type military people. That's all I'm going to say. Who obviously will be absolutely horrified to know what happens behind the scenes in our military, because not only do we have the government, then we have the shadow government, but we have the military as well as the shadow military. And then the shadow military works for the shadow government. And the things that these guys do are on another level. I'll tell you that much. It's on things we can't even begin to imagine. And that's what's starting to happen now. You know, there's a lot of people coming forth speaking about these things. You had an incredibly interesting guest on your show the other day, Dani, Mr. Rodriguez.
Tony Rodriguez.
Wow.
Yeah, Tony. I
what
love
a story.
Tony.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let me talk
What a
about Tony
story.
for a second, because I know you're going to have him on your channel too. And Tony
Yeah.
Rodriguez, it took me, honestly, the last 2 years to convince Tony of how important he is in the world of disclosure. Because Tony Rodriguez, as a little 10-year-old boy in a gifted program at school, but upset a kid, another 10-year-old kid like him. And that kid would always say, my dad's Illuminati. What does your dad do? My dad's a satanic. What does your dad do? And Tony upset this kid. It was so innocent, so innocent. These girls said, oh, he's psychic, he can read your mind. And Tony went, no, he can't. That's all it took. The kid went to his dad and said, Tony upset me. And then at a science fair that Tony attended, the boy said, that's him, pointed to Tony. And that night, Tony was kidnapped. And Tony was put into a military program. And so he was sold by satanics, put into a program, passed around. Oh my God, his story is, but Tony Rodriguez is a survivor, and he is one single man who has bridged the bridge from the alien extraterrestrials to the military programs to the satanics. So he is a crucial human in this element of disclosure that we are witnessing globally. Another reason why you and I are chatting today, another reason why I'm bringing you on my channel, because I'm using you, Chantelle, as a really good example of another person who has such deep love for humanity. And also, Chantelle, something I know about you is that there's elements of you that are fully realized, like the Christ, in terms of you awoke to your beautiful, natural, metaphysical, spiritual gifts a long time ago. You have been modifying them, learning them. And then what did you do? What we all came to do. You teach, you share, you bring to the awareness to help others become fully realized beings. That is our job. And I salute you, Chantelle Meyburgh, for doing that, And I know you're humble, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. Girl, I
That's
see your ass. I see you, girl. I know who you be.
that is such a beautiful compliment. Thank you. And I've got to say, mirror, absolute mirror to you, because I mean, I really honestly, and I can honestly say, you talking about the quality of my guests as well. From what you've got incredible guests out there that you interview, and I definitely would love to chat more with them as well. And as you said, do some crossovers on our channels wherever we can, because it's such a brilliant time to do that. And there's so much division at the moment, when we're looking at our platforms and the attacks, I just know, and as you say, they're not always the coolest people. I get insulted, called the worst things sometimes, but at the end of the day, I don't really mind, because it's really just their projection anyway. Doesn't make me that.
Oh, lost you there, my love.
Necessarily the truth, right? But to stand together at this time and talk about these things and unite is really a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, when we all have the same common goal in mind, which is to bring unification and self-realization, because that is the only thing that's going to save us, is self-realization. Jesus came here and gave us the tools. Jesus is not coming to save us. And I know I get attacked a lot for saying that. Jesus is not coming to save you. Jesus and many other great masters gave you the tools for which you now use to and apply, because wisdom is knowledge applied. So when you apply these tools, you then act in a way that is in line with Christ consciousness, isn't it?
Definitely.
There you go.
Definitely.
How
People
can it not be?
Yeah, people seem to have such a, like, I was raised, let's say, I don't know what word you would say, I was exposed to the nuttiness, the craziness, in my opinion and my experience, of the Pentecostal evangelical. And you grow up. I mean, the first time I saw the image of Jesus on the cross, I was so traumatized. Why are they telling me this is the savior of the world, and yet he's nailed to a cross and he's dead and he's miserable and it's awful? But it's a deliberate mind control program. Jesus was not a Christian. People forget that. Jesus wasn't a Christian. That all came years after he died. He was a beautiful, fully realized man, a fully realized human who came to say,
Yes.
what I do, you do too. But we're like, no, we can't say that. No, because my vicar doesn't agree, because you have to go through the vicar and the pope and the blah, blah, blah. It's all bollocks. It's total bollocks. And as we break down these systems lovingly and we go, oh my God, I think I can be in control of my mind, my thoughts, my heart. Yeah, let's all bring it all together, which is again what you and I are doing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just so, and it's really an understanding of the body, mind, and spirit coming together and operating as one. It's like you have your spirit, you have your emotions, you have your mental, and you have your physical. That's what I say. 4 legs of the table: fire, water, air, earth. Like 4 legs of the table: spirit, emotions, mind, and body. So when we learn to balance all 4 of those, we realize human beings. And most of us haven't begun to understand the importance of that. Most of us, firstly, the first leg you want to connect is your spirit. You want to ignite that flame again. You want to, have that beautiful communication, that communion with your creator. And that lights that fire in you, boy, that then sparks up the flame that enables you to see everything, and it enables you to move in places that you need to move in. You're in the right place at the right time. You see things, you can transmute them now. It's just a beautiful journey. We start realizing so much about who we are. And then when you realize that you are these things, how can the other person not be that? Right? Because we all created an image of God, or the divine, or source, whatever you choose to call it. I don't really mind. We all have our way of worshiping. And I think that's important and unique to each person. But as long as you are in that space where you know that you are connected, you know that you are supported, you know you are loved, you know you are the most gorgeous creature on this earth, and there is no one else like you. And it's not an egotistical thing. You see, when we get past the humility, we move into the humbleness of what that truly means, what it means to be me. I am this piece of the puzzle that is unique to me, and no one else matches that. And as are you. So we understand that about each other. So now we realize the importance of working towards the fulfillment of a project or a cause or a desire or whatever it is, but it becomes more of a universal thing. You're not working for yourself, but you know how important it is to do the work within yourself, because if you haven't done that work within yourself, you're not a conduit for the higher frequencies. And that's not an ego thing, that's a logical thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so beautifully said. And a lot of people are like, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I can't move forward. I don't know what you mean by inner work. For me, the easiest, fastest, and most powerful route to the healing that each individual body on this planet is going to do, whether they like it or not, they're going to be encouraged, they're going to be self-led, or they're going to be pushed, is to connect with that little girl inside or that little boy inside. To me, that is the core of everyone's healing, to take that inner child, to love them, to be the protector that you never had, to be the mother, the father you never had, to be the one able to soothe the wounds of the inner child that you are, and raise that child up so they can see, look how big you got, you're an adult now. And then remind the child to be the child, the playful child, but let you as the adult now run the show. Because there are so many men on our planet in particular who are emotionally paralyzed, which is a phrase we use in therapy, emotionally paralyzed at 9 years old. God forbid the ones in the satanic brotherhood who were totally traumatized and frozen in time at age 12, at the 12-year-old ritual, which we won't get into today. But they are emotionally traumatized, and they are running their lives and running our lives from their inner child, who is emotionally paralyzed due to the right. And we let these muppets, these mostly white men in suits, bimbling along. They've got no souls, they've got no hearts, they're plugged into this desire for an adrenal high, to get off on this, to get off on that, always searching, seeking for something, because they go beyond the point of human, and they're run by a demon that wants to feel that physicality. We've got witches going around on stages around the world right now, singing, spelling on the audience. They don't even realize that the albums they're buying have been spelled on 16, 17 different layers of dark magic, books, programs, pornography, all of these things out there, they've all been touched, not all, they've been touched to kidnap, to hold hostage, to spell, to MK Ultra the minds of the billions. Yeah. What say you to that, my love?
Absolutely. I so agree with that. But when we're also looking at understanding who these creatures are, from what I've been also, I think gosh, I can't remember where the information comes from now, but what they're saying is that there's something like 26 reptilian star systems just on this side of our star system, right? And what they do is they take over planets and they create slaves. So they don't want useless slaves. So they're going to turn us into the slaves that they want us to be, right? So through religious indoctrination, which is really the reverse of what is truth, it's like they've taken everything and just turned it upside down. So now when we can just, that's why I say, whatever they've taught you, do the opposite of. Do the opposite of that. Or whatever they tell you, just do the opposite, because that's the right way. You know, they've stolen our symbols, our deities, you know, our spirituality, and they've turned it into something so debased and so degrading on so many levels, you know. And it's really up to us to change that perception again, which is what I mean, everyone knows my channel is non-denomination, but there's a huge Christian following because of Jesse. And of course, I get a lot of flack from that. But also, by the same token, I want to say it's been an amazing opportunity to also meet other amazing Christian people, because I've had a lot of judgment against that over the years because of my experiences. So on this level as well, it's given me a fantastic opportunity to meet true Christians, not the ones that Bible punch and will judge you and I don't know, whatever it is they do, you know, that sort of thing. So it's been very, very interesting, you know, over the past 3 years, just to connect and see what's out there. And it's at the same time, it's so exciting because we, you know, we really are at the time where we are able to liberate ourselves, assist in the liberation of each other, you know,
Yes.
which is a really cool thing. So it's a good time to be alive.
I mean, it is. I mean, of course, it's going to get a bit bumpier here and there. So the more that people watch channels like yours, channels like mine, that they feel it's a safe place to land, even though they're going to hear some information that might like, oh, I don't know if I want to hear that. It's all right. We're holding you in love. We're holding you in light. We know how hard it is because we've been through it ourselves and we're doing the work. We've done the work.
Yeah.
And then someone like you, Chantelle, you have these programs in place. You have created programs, again, to lead people to their own power, to awakening themselves, which is so important. Of course, I'm going to put the links to everything you do under this broadcast. I would love to see.
I want to just say, Dani, we've got a second channel called Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa, as in solutions. And that's really because, you know, with Aquarius Rising Africa is where we expose a lot of the very nasty stuff, you know. It's like a lot of and then on Solutions it's really the healing. So now you know, how do we heal? What do we look at changing, you know, the healers, and how we can change the stuff that's out there.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I would like to see globally is the image of Jesus taken off the cross. I want for them to stop saying, well, it's so we don't forget. No one's going to forget that man was murdered because he was giving the truth of what a fully realized human looks like. In a nutshell, John, in a nutshell. So let's take down the evil, awful,
Absolutely
traumatizing. And remember, these babies, our children, are growing up seeing this image of the Christ dead on a cross. Why are we promoting that? Why has that been allowed? Because we've been mind controlled to never say a word against the Bible or the religion. Well, now we are.
Exactly.
We are big time. So let's take him off the cross and let's have beautiful images of this beautiful man that existed. How about we start there? Secondly, I was having a chat, you know, the whole thing happening in Maui right now. You know, it's they're trying to make Maui or that Lahaina, which is one of the most ancient rooted portals on the whole of the Hawaiian Islands. I think it was a DEW. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll publicly apologize. Right now, I'm not going to. I think it was a direct energy weapon. I think it was deliberate. There's a land grab going on. Now, I'm friends with the brother of the mayor. Isn't it amazing how we always seem to be connected to people right in the middle of something? I always find that amazing. Beautiful man, he's exhausted, the mayor, he's doing the best he can. I'm reaching out saying, people are telling me that there's nothing this, nothing that getting through. But so there's a lot of different stories happening right now. But whatever it is, you know, let's do what we can to help these people in crisis as we're seeing parts of our planet be taken over. But also, you talk about Christians, Chantelle.
Yeah.
Well, where are the multi-gazillionaire Christians that run their mega churches, that make their congregations tithe 10% of their salaries, even if they can't afford it, they're guilted into it? Where are those buggers? Where's their wonga? Are they getting in their private planes and packing up
Yeah.
the plane with food and landing? Eh, boys? Boys, oi, oi, John, you know, are you preparing your sermon for the next Sunday, friend? You know, come on. If you put yourself in a position and you say, I am the word, and you've got billions of people following you, and you've got tons and tons of money, and you're watching Lahaina burn, and you know, people are starving, they've got no food, this, that, and the other, get off your ass and walk your talk. Don't know about you, Chantelle, but I'm like, don't tell me who you are. Show me who you are by your actions. What do you think about that? What do you think about these mega churches and these Christians that pontificate and hypothesize? Oh, look at me, I'm a Christian and I've got this big fucking church, and come along and give me 10% of your earnings. What do you think about those twats? What
Well,
kind of
we
information?
know, yeah, we know firstly, I mean, from most of them, all you got to do is look at the Hillsong Church in Australia and all over, and what they've been found guilty of. We're looking at all, I mean, I don't even know the names, but these mega churches, it's well known, these charismatic pastors are very much in on this action. You listen to people like Madison Marquette, who was trafficked, you know, as a porn star, trafficked through the churches. And she names all the big names involved, you know, which is crazy. So, yeah, I mean, it's the majority of them are involved. I mean, you also look at speaking to a lot of the whistleblowers, and they'll tell you how on a Saturday night they go to the churches, these places, before their sermons on a Sunday morning, and do all their dodgy little ritual work. So by the time Sunday comes, everything's nicely set up for the juicy steak, right?
Right, for the
Yeah,
looshing, and they're doing
it's
rituals
crazy.
underneath in basements. As one is their mirror. So when there's
Yeah,
something light above, there could
yeah,
be something dark below. I remember my mum years ago telling me, oh my God, there was a little girl, she was found in the back of a boot, you know, back of a car, we call it the boot in England, where I am currently. In the boot of the car, and this little girl was taped, she'd been kidnapped by this perv and rescued, and my mum was coming apart because it's so awful to see a little one. And then they found another, they've made him go where he lived, and he lived in the basement of a church, and he had another child down there. Unfortunately, that one was deceased. But we've got to open our minds to, we think churches are sacred spaces. Yes, they are, for the right people with the right intentions, but there are others who do the
exactly.
opposite, who work the mirror opposite.
Yeah.
And we've got to be more vigilant. Stop bloody trusting everyone just because it's your church. I learned that when I was 7, and like you, I was accused of being the devil child because I saw Jesus and the angels in my room. You know, don't you dare say that. Who do you think you are? You live in a poor house, you blah blah blah.
Exactly.
And that's when you know, when you're a kid, you're like, adults are full of shit, and they still are. I mean, I am too sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. It's
we're
crazy.
always
Crazy.
right. We've just got
But
to,
anyway,
yeah, we're just
eventually
doing.
itself. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the
again,
internet's, yeah, the internet's dodgy. Darling, this has been so lovely, just so nice. I know people are going to feel your heart and your vibration like I do. And I'm so proud to bring you on my channel. I'm so happy because I know a lot of people are going to jump across to you. They're going to get all of your beautiful information, especially, they're all special. But I do want to say Jessie Zabota, Jessie, who was in the satanic family being trained as a mother of darkness. This woman has information that I have never heard in my life. And neither have most of you. So don't say you have, because people like to just get on and start spewing all this information because they've heard it, watched it. They never give credit to the person who's lived it. But Jessie Zabota.
Yes, exactly.
Right. It's her intel that you have such a special relationship with her, you and Monet. You can tell Jessie feels safe on your channel. There's this loving frequency between the three of you, this beautiful kind of triage that happens.
Oh, that's beautiful to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, we have lots of fun, and we have lots of off-air giggles, and yeah. She knows I'll push my luck with her when it comes to getting information. No.
Yeah, you're good at that though. You're good. And again, you know, you had a massive channel on YouTube and it got taken down, and you've had to take the time yet
Yeah.
again to build up. So people might go across and say, oh, that's
Yeah.
not high. You would have had hundreds of thousands by now if boob tube, as I call them, hadn't bullied you and just swiped you down. They are such assholes. They don't even let you,
Yeah.
they just go, you're down, you're done. You know, and then there's no one to call, there's nothing to do. We're just handled in that way. I mean, shame on them. And I mean that. I mean that to them. They're out of order and they're wrong. And time's short, and they better know what time it is, because the generals they're supporting, the generals are going to be taken down. So if they're second or third in command, they got to know that they need to be giving information and being helpful and not stopping, because they're not going to be given the virgins in paradise and the mansions and the this and the that. There's nothing for them.
No, not going to happen.
Right. And if they really
Sorry.
knew Satan, they think Satan doesn't give a shit. He doesn't have emotion. He doesn't. They were like, no, I'm going to be good because, you know, I did this with Satan. Dude. Wakey time. Satan doesn't care about anybody but himself. And he's going to keep no promises to any riches and sex and drugs. And that's what time it is, my love. That's what time it is. All right. I would love to come to you for final words for this broadcast. So the floor is yours, Angel Face.
Well, I want to just again say thank you so much for inviting me. It's an absolute pleasure, and I love chatting to you. And yes, you know, I think really at the end of the day, these are challenging times, but I'm a double Aquarian. We've entered the age of Aquarius, okay? And Aquarius is all about, on the negative side of Aquarius, right? It's all about AI, viruses, illnesses, artificial intelligence, right? But on the positive side, again, it's all about connecting, being brilliant, being intuitive, having your ESP. So, you know, and really I'm working on a lot of stuff right now to get that, because as I said, so I've had the download of the frequencies of literally getting us out of the matrix, because it's the hive mind, right? So once we understand that the queen we're working towards is not a human being that we have to bow down, something we work to collectively, and then we can move towards it. So when we can get that understanding, life is peachy. So I would love for you guys to come and say hi to us on our channel, Aquarius Rising Africa, as well as Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa. And Dani, I'm certainly going to be inviting you to have a chat with me on there as well. So I look forward to that. And thank you again very much. And guys, you know, really, all it is just take some time for yourself, meditate regularly, pray, just keep yourself in alignment, laugh a lot, you know, which I know is sometimes difficult. I've certainly had some difficult moments lately, but at the end of the day, when I'm feeling glum, everything around me feels it as well. And I've learned that. So through the darkest of times, just keep your sense of humor, keep your wits about you, and we're going to get through this together. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and beautifully said. It's funny, the word glum. So it's one of the things I love about the South African vocal expressions. There's a lot of similarities between the British and the Africans, the South Africans in particular, the white South Africans in particular, and some of the expressions. So glum, I haven't heard that word for a while. Glum, when you're down, when you're low, when you're beautiful. Well, Chantelle, this has been a joy for me, and I'm so glad that you were open. Of course, I knew you would be. You know, I knew you would be, of course. And now I'm a double Aquarian too. So that's interesting. And here we are.
No way.
Yes, way. And
when's your birthday?
9th of February.
I'm on the 10th. Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Rising. Yeah, that's so cool. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
High five, baby.
High five, girl. High five. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, every star sign obviously has its strength and its power, but watch your ass when it comes to the loud Aquarians, because we're coming for you.
Oh yeah, this is our time.
This is our time.
So definitely.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah. Well, now you know the channel's named after and why we've named it that, because it really is this time. And it's this time of really just, I don't care whether you believe in astrology or not, it doesn't matter. But it's a time of a great awakening. None of us can deny that stuff's happening. So it really is just, you know, let's connect, let's get together, let's connect. It's beautiful.
Definitely, definitely. Well, much love to you, Chantelle Meyburgh from Aquarius Rising Africa. I finally said it right. Aquarius Rising Africa. And soul solutions, as in solutions, but you put soul solutions. And of course, it'll, as always, be underneath this broadcast. And so to the audience, I'm sure, and I know you've really enjoyed, those of you that don't know her, I mean, a ton of you will absolutely know who Chantelle Meyburgh is and her darling Mornay and her channel. But some of you, this might be the first time. So it gives me great joy to show us in solidarity together, partnering. And I want to invite other channels out there, come together. We need to be dovetailing in, standing shoulder to shoulder. We don't have to like everybody's guest. Let's not stop, make that be a stop, that just keep pushing. We got to unite, unification of humanity in the frequency of love. That's how we liberate. That's how we take our planet back. And that's how we all empower ourselves, I believe. So thank you again, Chantelle. And to you guys out there, my name is Dani Henderson. My name is Dani Henderson. I send love from my heart to yours, and I'll see you soon.
Indeed. God bless you all.